Welcome to Coffee and Cybersecurity with Cyberpilot. I'm your host, Anders. Today I'm joined by Benjamin. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're our product owner on our phishing services. You've been here before.
Yes.
And last time you talked about phishing, obviously. And today it's a bit of the same, but we're diving into a Microsoft Defender and how you as a company can use that with your phishing handling, what we should call it.
Yes, that's correct.
Happy to have you here.
Thank you. Happy to be back.
Let's start with the basic and just defining what is Microsoft Defender and who can actually use this.
Yeah. Microsoft Defender is, you can say, your portal as an IT admin to configure and also understand your email security. More broadly, you can also configure and understand your security on devices and endpoints and all those things. But today we'll just hopefully talk about email. But it's something that's available to you as an organization if you use Microsoft.
Yes, and a lot of companies do use Microsoft, but is it true that not that many companies are aware of all the cool features in Microsoft Defender?
Yeah, I would say so. Like probably 9 out of 10 of our customers use Microsoft for their email, but also their email security. And of course, as an IT admin, at least the ones we meet, they need to be experts at certain things to get their business to run. And Microsoft is so vast, and Defender is really vast too. So knowing every nook and cranny in Defender, I haven't seen that yet. So I would say I always meet admins who can learn maybe a little bit new.
Yes, and I guess that's also why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Because then we want to not highlight everything in Microsoft Defender, but we want to highlight some of the cool features that you can use in your defenses when it comes to phishing in your company.
Yes.
So I guess that's the perfect transfer into the question of how can you then use Microsoft Defender for phishing?
Yeah. And let's just get started there. So we can start like in front of the scenes, if that's an expression you use. It's probably not. But how does the end user interact with Microsoft Defender? Well, the short answer is they really don't. But the actions they take, they will be visible in Microsoft Defender. So let's say that you are a company that believes that you need to streamline your reporting mechanisms when users see something strange. If something happens to, let's say, phishing email, someone clicks a link they shouldn't have, you need to block links for end users because they are malicious or something like that. Well, then the end user will be in some way notifying you in Defender. So a very simple example of this is, of course, the phishing reporting button in Outlook. So again, let's say you're a company who says, let's streamline reporting processes, have our end users click the button if they see a suspicious email, then they are in some way interacting with Defender, right? And that's where the story kind of starts with the end user.
Yes, so I think what we also see sometimes is that companies have a lot of way of reporting phishing emails, but Defender is a way where you can actually streamline that.
Yeah,
because you can get everything in there instead of people writing you in Teams. I got this email, it looks kind of suspicious, or go down to a disk. That's difficult to keep track of as an IT manager. say, okay, I got 3 from here, I got 4 from here, and then put it all together. That's what Defender can actually solve for you.
Yeah. It sounds like you've also spoken to quite a few admins. That's exactly the scene that I'm hearing also. And yeah, it was really designed this way. It seems from the beginning that of course there should be some connection between the end user and the admin, and we need to start collaborating here on making our organization more secure. So yeah.
So let's say that it all starts with a user who clicks the report phishing button in Outlook,
Yep.
the button that's always there, but quite a few of us have used in the past. Let's say that we started doing that. Then what are some of the things you can see and do in Microsoft Defender as an IT manager? Because that's when it lands in Defender, I guess.
Basically, in the simplest sense, and I say this because there are Defender you can configure in endless ways. But in the simplest sense, you as an IT manager will be notified if someone hits that button. Now, in Defender, there are 2 spaces really where these events take place when someone hits the button. The first place an event like this occurs is in something called submissions, and it's under the actions and submissions menu point. And here you'll see an event as an admin, and you can get notified, of course, there. Someone clicked the button, and it, of course, refers directly to which email is it about, who is the sender, which IP address did this email come from. You can get some information, some more technical information like SPF, DMARC, DKIM, verifications or lack thereof. And of course, you can also browse the contents of the email, see the URLs and stuff like that. So this is the first place where it lands. It's kind of, what would say, a preliminary 1-by-1 event log. So you can see it there, and you can take action quite quickly. We'll get back to the actions. The next place these events occur are in your alerts log. And so you also have an alert space in Defender where you can see all kinds of alerts. So right now we're focusing, of course, on phishing email alerts, but it could also be device alerts, endpoint alerts, other kind of alerts that you as an IT manager would want to know about. But here you may want not only yourself, but maybe a head of a department, maybe a CEO, maybe the CTO, whoever, you might want them to be notified as well. And here in the alerts section is where you kind of set up your whole chain of command, if that's what you want to call it, but at least who needs to know what at which time and under which conditions. And so that's where the event lands after it lands under submissions. I hope that kind of made sense.
I can try and sum it up as the one who's not been working there. So what I hear say is that the first space, like the action and submissions, is a place where you individually as an IT department can go in and investigate each of these submissions. And then if there's a red flag or something, it also goes to another sections called alert. And then that's where you can do all kind of automated flows saying, okay, this is something where we need to involve C-level, or we need to involve some other people in the organization.
Yep. I wish I could have said it summarized like that, but I didn't. So, but thank you.
Yeah. It's always easiest to come second, I guess. So I guess that means that if people actually start using this button, you'll have a chance of actually investigating these emails without people forwarding emails to you.
Yeah.
And you can also set up automated flows on what should happen if X, Y, Z.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so just to take you through some of the things that we do here at Cyberpilot when someone hits the report phishing button. So our IT admin gets a notification and they start investigating the email. if they deem that, okay, this email is suspicious, then they want to do a few things. They want to see who else got this email, right? They want to see what is actually in this email. Is it a URL to something we don't want, or is it some kind of other tactic to maybe gain information or something else? But what they really do is they will say, okay, first, is it serious? And then scope. So, is there a malicious link? Yes, no. If so, block it, right? For everyone. You can do that in Defender as well.
So you can take actions for the whole company.
You can take actions for the whole company. And you can, of course, also ask in Defender, who else received this? And not only who else received this exact email, but who else received it from the sender, or who else received an email with this link or this link domain. So there are many ways of really understanding the scope of the problem, or if there is a big problem.
Yeah.
And from there, of course, our IT admin will take action. So they can also see if someone clicked links, which is also pretty cool. So they can see how big of a problem do we have, and do we need to do something about it now? Do we need to do about it? So at least for our license as well, they can also just delete the emails from everyone's inbox that meet certain conditions. So it could be sender or URL or something like that.
I guess that's a huge benefit, because I think as years ago we didn't use Defender, as I know, and it was really much about writing in Teams. I received these phishing emails, and then it was up to each individual to actually see that message and then ignore an email. But in this case with Defender, of course, it's still good to warn each other, but the IT team can actually just remove the email for everybody, and then if they didn't see the Teams message, no harm done.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But I guess that's also a rhythm that we should go into. Why is that clever, or why is that a good way of handling phishing emails? And I guess you already come across a few of those things, like everything is in one place. If it's in Microsoft Defender, you don't have to run around the whole company to figure out how many phishing emails you got.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good point. So, well, I think if we say clever is really doing or solving a problem in a better way than before, then I think what the problem that it really solves is exactly as you mentioned, this chaotic scene of IT trying to do get some work done, and people bombarding them from various channels asking, is this email okay? Is that email okay? And stuff like that. And what they really need are very simple pieces of information from that email. So let's say someone sends them a screenshot of an email. They need to first type that email out and somehow search it out. Then they need to investigate it and see if it's something. There's also like if someone shows up at the door, as we often see with their email pointing towards the admin, they'll point at their own screen and say, "Is this safe?" And again, the admin will say, "I need to just use some information here," and all these channels and to really report this or come in contact with IT, they're super time consuming. So this is how or where Microsoft Defender, I think, in a clever way, solves many of these problems in a very simple way. It makes it simple for the end user to say, I think this looks suspicious. Could you take a look? Press a button.
Yeah.
It makes it super simple for the IT admin to investigate both, is this a problem and what's the scope? And it also makes it super simple for the IT admin to take action, and that they can take action and be completely sure that, let's say, all emails are gone, or that no one can click a link or something like that. So as an admin, I would be comfortable knowing that we have the whole kind of security line that we've solved there with a tool. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's both for the admin, but also for the end user, it's easier.
Yeah.
So the admin will have way easier ways of investigating and getting reported phishing emails in their Defender, but it's also easier for the user. They just have to click the button, which is already in the Outlook.
Yes.
And I guess there's a lot of vendors who create third-party integrations with all kind of phishing reporting.
Yeah.
But there's already one in Outlook that works.
Yeah, you're completely right. And yeah, we do hear there are vendors out there who create their own reporting buttons also that can also be used. And this, of course, is done because maybe the vendor sees that the reporting button in Outlook lacks something, or they would like to have more control over the data or have more data into their systems or something like that, or that it fits well into their software. And that also, it all makes complete sense. But then again, you're as an IT admin, you're introducing another add-on, another process, another tool where the information you need will be in one system and the actions you need to take are in Defender.
So this brings it all together.
This brings it all together.
So that's some of the things you can do and some of the benefits. But if you've never used Defender, this might sound a bit complex. So is it difficult or is it easy to get started using Defender in this way?
Yeah, so let's say we can probably divide it into a technical aspect and an organizational aspect. So the technical aspect, as you know, with any Microsoft product, there are endless ways to configure things. There are also some quite default basic settings that you can use right out of the box. And Defender is pretty good at like giving you a basic default defense setup where, yeah, you may need to configure who needs to know what at which times, but then you're pretty good to go. And the guides are definitely adequate for Defender. So organizational wise, that's always where it can become sometimes more difficult. So from the IT department's point of view, you of course need to figure out who's responsible for which processes in Defender. Do you have one person who's responsible for all alerts, for example? Do you have one person who's responsible for identity management? That's kind of not so much in Defender, but the security around them, or how do you wish to organize this? And here I mean, you probably know better out there what fits your organization, if it's one or many, or how you cut the cake. But there's certainly also help to be found out there around organizing. But for the end user, I think it's very easy because most end users I've talked to know how to find their way around Outlook. And fortunately, the button is already built in most times. So I would say the organizational part of implementing it for the end user is defining clearly when do they need to press this button, what actually happens. And so basically what you tell them is that if there's something you are unsure about, dear user, click the button and we'll take a look at it for you.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. But if you can say it so clearly and simply, then it's simple. But if you mess around with things like, do you believe this is phishing and stuff like that, and do you see these red flags, and like try to qualify it, then people will forget.
Just click it.
Just click it.
Yeah, so I guess there's some technical setup, but there's a lot of guides on the internet for that. And then, as you mentioned, it's about getting people to actually click the button.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge point in the fact that people should know that it's also you as an IT who gets the alert or the submission.
Yeah, that's a good
Because
point.
I actually thought back when we didn't use Defender that it just went to Outlook or Microsoft. I actually didn't know that there was a Defender where somebody in my own team would get that alert.
Yeah.
I think that's also because I'm not on the IT team, I'm like the end user. I think that's also a part of it, saying click it, and then we will take a look at it. It's not something else. It's that simple.
But I would say I'm in the exact same place as you. I had no idea what that button actually did before we really started investigating it here. Yeah, you can set it up to go to Microsoft or whatever, the alerts, but of course that probably doesn't make a lot of sense.
No. A huge benefit in your company.
Yeah,
that you can see it.
Yes.
I guess that's that part. And then I think the last thing I've noted we should talk about is that another cool thing about it is that it actually works for phishing simulations as well.
Yes.
So you don't need another tool again. To do that, you can use the same button. You can use Defender for that as well.
Yes. So something, of course, that we didn't mention about this specific, the button here and for the end user is that a few studies, big studies done on phishing training have shown the effect of using this phishing button actively. So imagine the difference between two sets of end users. One set of end users, they're told, if you see something that doesn't look right, click the button. Where the other set of end users are told, if you see something strange, contact IT or delete it or do something else, right? It's very clear that the ones who have very specific instructions, they become much better at spotting phishing because they know that each mail they receive, they are responsible for taking action. And when you become responsible for something, then you're likely to become much better at it too. So this small button has a great benefit on training employees also to become better at spotting phishing. And that, I think that was also a little segue maybe over to how we can use Defender in when we do phishing simulation and training. So imagine if you do phishing simulation, you may send out, let's say, the same email out to all your end users, the same phishing simulation email, and then you want to see, well, how does your organization perform on this? How quickly do they report this to IT? How are there any who inadvertently click the link or submit some data that they should not have? And here, Defender is also quite cool because you can set it up so in Defender, in your policies and rules, that emails that come from a certain place are marked as phishing simulation, so that when your users, your end users, click the report this as phishing button, then in Defender, all these emails will be marked as simulation events. Okay, so this is cool in a few ways. The one is, of course, in Defender, you can set up some rules and say, ignore the ones, don't
simulations.
Yeah, these are simulations. Don't call the CEO. Don't notify him or her right away. But of course, then you can also get your overview over who actually is reporting this, who knows how to use the button, and all these things.
Yeah, because everybody got it.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone should know how to use it, and so now you also get an idea of How quickly do people report? Do they know how to spot these things, or who should you be talking to? So really, you have a lot of features handed to you in regards to phishing simulation also.
Yeah.
In Defender.
Yes.
I don't know. Is it now that I should say that we also integrate into
a bit of commercial in the podcast anyway?
Yeah. So so we of course started becoming interested in this phishing reporting button in Outlook, and began also to see the benefits of when doing training, but also in general, just in Defender, the workflows that make it easier for admins, and thought, well, I mean, since Microsoft has already built a quite brilliant workflow,
why not use it?
Yeah, why not use it? So what we can actually do now is, when people run phishing simulations with us, and the button clicks from the end users, they are marked as phishing simulations. Then they're of course pulled into the CyberPilot platform, so you can also get everything in one place there. So you can see for all the simulations you ran, who and how many unfortunately clicked the link, submitted data, but you can also start to see how many reported as phishing. So you have both the numbers in the CP app, but also in Defender where you need it for workflows. But so here we pull it into the CP app, and I think that's hugely beneficial. And we can also see, of course, our customers really embracing this feature more and more. That was the commercial part. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess we always said that we wouldn't try and sell anything here, but I think the main point in this is not to sell our phishing training, but also just urge people to actually use tools and things where you can keep it all in one place. Because if you actually do something else, something different, and build a tool just for phishing training where you need to integrate it, then you end up working in different systems. But with Defender, you can actually keep everything in one place, and you make it easy for your users. So why not do that?
Yeah.
And then it's up to you if you want to run your own phishing simulations, or if you need help from us. But you can also do it yourself all the way. Yeah,
you can also do it yourself. And that's also a thing I didn't mention. You can, of course, also, depending on the license you have, run your own phishing simulation from Defender. That's also pretty cool.
But I guess that was kind of it. I think the summary is that if you haven't looked into Defender, do it. Yeah. Because there's a lot of cool features when it comes to phishing. Also other things, but now we focus on phishing. You can get all the submissions and alerts from your users. The cool thing is that you get everything in one place, and it's easy for your end users to report phishing. It's easy for you to handle them. And yeah, I guess that was kind of the main selling points for starting with Defender.
Yeah.
Anything you think we missed?
I think this was a good intro. Now begins the real fun.
Yeah,
I think.
So there's a lot more to dive into.
Yeah.
In another episode, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. But thank you for coming, Benjamin.
Thank you for having me again.
You're welcome, and thank you for listening out there. And see you next time.